Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. On this video tutorial we're going to learn how to crochet step by step this beautiful backpack, the Edinburgh Backpack. A big thank you to the store Magenta Artsy Workshop, which is a store here in Greece, and they send their material worldwide. I will have the link attached under the video on the pinned post, where I will have the kit that I used from their website. Also will have their Facebook page, which is the best way to contact Maria, which speaks English fluently, and she will help you with the material that you need. Okay, it's the best way to contact via Facebook and explain that you need the kit for the Edinburgh backpack and so on. So we're going to crochet this backpack step by step, and it is made with 4 motifs. Then we're going to crochet on our base. Then we're going to crochet a few rows on top of the motifs. We're going to attach the top part with the bottom. We're going to crochet the squares over here, the fillet, to take the cord through here. Then we're going to crochet the lid. We're going to attach everything along with the closing and the straps on the back and on the bottom. And in the end I'm going to show how to sew the already prepared lining by Magenta Artsy Workshop, how to sew it on the backpack using the invisible stitch. So what I want to mention before I start is that I used a total of 3 skeins and a little bit from a 4th one, in order to avoid the 4th skein and in order to avoid increasing and making more expensive the kit to buy. What you can do is, when you crochet around the base, after working the increases down here, we work a few rows with 1 single crochet in every stitch to give a little height to the backpack. What you can do is you can crochet 2 rows less than I do on the single crochet down here in the base. You can work 2 rows less than I do, and you can crochet a little tighter. I usually use medium strength while I crochet. I never crochet too tight in order to avoid hurting my hands. So you can crochet a little tighter in order to make sure you have enough yarn left in the end to make the cord and the tassels. If you're afraid that the yarn is not going to be enough, please order 4 skeins instead of 3, and you'll be just fine. So let's see the material that we used one by one, and then how to start the backpack. Okay, so now let's see step by step the material that we're going to need to crochet the Edinburgh backpack. I'm going to need 3 skeins of the rope called pt, which is half polyester and half polypropylene. Each skein is 200 grams and 150 meters each. Okay, this one has a little less because I've already crocheted one of the motifs as a sample to see how it's being made. Okay, then we have the leather base, which is 10 centimeters by 30 centimeters with hooks over here with links. I have the leather straps, which have already the link up here, so when you finish your backpack you can go ahead and sew on the top. We have the hinges on the bottom, which right away when you attach the top part, you go ahead and attach the hinges on the links, and they're ready right away. And in the end I have the bag handle, which again you're going to sew on the top, on the back side, on the top of your backpack. Now, if you want to reduce the price of the kit, you can go ahead and crochet a base, you can crochet the straps and crochet the bag handle. Then we have the metal hinge, which this is going to help us button our backpack. So this we're going to sew on the lid, right on this lid over here, and this we're going to sew on the bottom part of our backpack, and this is how your backpack is going to be closed. Now, all the material that I just mentioned are in the kit for the Edinburgh backpack. What is not in the kit but you can order with extra charge is the lining on the inside, where Maria has the line sewed and ready for us. So when we complete our backpack, you're just going to place the lining inside the backpack and you're going to sew it on the top. So it's already sewn in the bottom. Okay, so it's ready. And on the inside, she has made pockets for us for our wallets, for our cell phones. Okay, we have 3 pockets on the inside. Okay, and the crochet hooks that we're going to use are 3.5 and 5.5, as she mentions up here. But she also mentions down here that she uses a 5mm crochet hook. So we're going to use 5, 5.5, and a 3.5mm crochet hook. Okay, and a big needle to help us weave in the ends in the end of our work. Okay, so now let's start and see how we're going to crochet the motif, and we're going to need 4 of these to make our backpack. We're going to start with 8 chains. So I'm going to start with my beginning knot. Please make sure you do not count your knots as one of your chains. I see this mistake being made over and over again. This is not one of your chains, it's just a knot. Okay, in chain 8. 1, 2, 3, sorry, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I have 8 chains, and I'm going to work a slip stitch in the first chain. And I have a ring. Okay, now we're going to chain 1, and I'm going to work 2 single crochet in each chain. So I have 8 chains in the end of row 1. I'm going to have 16 single crochet. So I'm not going to start in the chain that I just worked my slip stitch. I'm going to start in the next one, and we're crocheting in the chains, not under them. Okay, one, same stitch, 2, next stitch, oops, 3, same stitch, 4, okay, next stitch, 5, same stitch, 6, next stitch, 7, same stitch, 8, next stitch, 9, same stitch, 10, next stitch, 11, same stitch, 12, next stitch, 13, same stitch, 14, and in our last chain right in here we're going to work the 15th and the same stitch, our 16th single crochet. So this is how row number 1 should look like. Now I'm going to put my hook in the first single crochet for this row, which is this one right over here, and I'm going to work a slip stitch. Okay, now I'm going to start row number 2, in which I'm going to start with a total of 6 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, from which the first 3 chains are my first double crochet, and the next 3 chains are my chain 3 space that I'm going to have every time in between the double crochet that I'm going to crochet. Okay, so in this row I'm going to work 3 chains and a double crochet in every second stitch. So I'm going to skip the first single crochet. Okay, the one that I just worked my slip stitch, sorry, is not my first stitch. The next single crochet is my first one. Okay, so skip the first one, go ahead in the second one and work 1 double crochet. Okay, now chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next stitch, put your hook in the next one and work 1 double crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next single crochet, put your hook in the second one and work 1 double crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next stitch, put your hook in the second one and work 1 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, skip the next stitch, put your hook in the second one and work 1 double crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next stitch, put your hook in the second one and work 1 double crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next stitch, put your hook in the second one and work 1 double crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next stitch. Now this is not a stitch, this is your slip stitch that we worked in row number 1. Okay, so this is not your last stitch, but this is. So because I don't have any more stitches, this is the last stitch that I'm going to skip, and I'm going to work a slip stitch in the first double crochet for this row, which is the 3rd chain counting from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the 3rd chain and work a slip stitch. Okay, and this is how your work should look like. Now, in the end of row number 2, we should have 8 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 8 chain 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now we're going to start row number 3, in which in every chain 3 space, we're going to work 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet, 3 double crochet, 1 half double crochet, and 1 single crochet. Okay, so we're going to start the row by chaining 1 and put your hook under the chain 3 space and work 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, oops, sorry, 3, and we're going to close this petal by working 1 half double crochet and 1 single crochet. Okay, so this is my first flower petal. Every single flower petal is going to be made in the same exact way. So from the first chain 3 space, go right away into the next chain 3 space and start working again. 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, 1 half double crochet, and 1 single crochet. Okay, so this was my second flower petal. We're going to work 1 more together, and then the other 5 we're going to work off camera. So from the 1 chain 3 space, jump over to the other one right away and start working your single crochet, 1 half double crochet, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, 1 half double crochet, and 1 single crochet. Okay, so we worked the 3 flower petals together, and now we're going to work the next 5 off camera. Once I finish my last flower petal, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to start with the next row. I've completed row number 3, and this is how your motif should look like at this point. Okay, So after the last single crochet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a slip stitch in the first chain that I worked in the beginning of the row. So right in here, I'm going to work a slip stitch. It's kind of hard because the chain is kind of tight. Okay, so this was the end of row number 3. Now we're going to start row number 4, in which we're going to start making arches to form a new row of flower petals. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to start with a chain 7, from which the first chain is the one that I want to start after my slip stitch, and the next 6 chains are the ones that I'm going to use for my arch. Now after the chains that I'm going to work, I'm going to be working a single crochet between the 2 single crochet of the flower petals. So between the last of the first one and the first single crochet of the next flower petal, you're going to be putting your hook right in between the 2 single crochet of the flower petals, and we're going to be working the single crochet in that space. Okay, so between the next 2 flower petals, so this is the last single crochet of the one, and this is the first single crochet of the next one. So right here, right in between, we're going to be putting our crochet hook. The next 2 flower petals, this is the last single crochet of the one, this is the first single crochet of the next one. Right in between, we're going to be putting our hook to work our single crochet. Okay, so we're only chaining 7 only in the beginning. In the next arches, we're going to be working chain 6. Okay, so chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, go all over your flower petal and go right ahead in between the 2 single crochet between the first 2 flower petals and work your single crochet. And because your chain spaces are going to be coming in front, just pull them backwards. Okay, now chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump over the flower petal and go right in between the 2 single crochet that are between the 2 flower petals, right over here, and work your single crochet. Okay, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump over the flower petal and go right in between the 2 single crochet and work your single crochet. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump over the flower petal and right in between the 2 single crochet, work your single crochet. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump over the flower petal and between the 2 single crochet, work your single crochet. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. Jump over the flower petal and go right in between the 2 single crochet of the 2 flower petals and work your single crochet. Okay, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, jump over the flower petal and put your hook right in between 2 single crochet and single crochet. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, jump over the flower petal. Now this is my last flower petal, okay? So what I want to do is I want to put my hook in the first out of the 7 chains that I worked in the beginning. So in the first chain, put your hook and work a slip stitch. Okay, so I'm turning for a second my flower on the back side, and we should have a total of 8 chain 6 spaces. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this was row number 4. Now we're going to start row number 5, and in each chain 5 space, in each chain 6 space, we're going to be working 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet, 5 double crochet, 1 half double crochet, and 1 single crochet. Okay, so I am going to chain 1 to begin with and go right ahead under the chain 6 space and work 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet, 5 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to work 1 half double crochet and 1 single crochet under the same chain 6 space. Okay, so this is my first out of 8 flower petals. Now we're going to work the second one together as well, and the other 6 we're going to work off camera. Okay, so go right ahead and go into the next chain space. Okay, so put your hook under the chain 6 space and work your single crochet, 1 half double crochet, 5 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and finish the flower petal with 1 half double crochet and 1 single crochet. So repeat these steps 6 more times, and when I finish my last flower petal, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to finish row number 5 and how to start row number 6. I've completed row number 5, and this is how your motif should look like at this point. Okay, now we're going to start row number 6. So we're going to finish row number 5 by working 1 slip stitch in the chain 1 space that we started the row with. Okay, it's kind of hard to get through it. Okay, so this was the end of row number 5. We worked a slip stitch in the first chain that we worked. Now I want to work 1 more slip stitch in the next stitch in the single crochet. Okay, and this I do in order to reach the half double crochet, in which I'm going to work 1 single crochet in the half double crochet. So what we're going to be doing in this row, we're going to be working 1 single crochet on the first half double crochet of the flower petal, chain 6, single crochet in the last half double crochet of the flower petal. So this is going to be the extended chain 6. Then I'm going to work chain 6 and go right ahead from this half double crochet and work a single crochet in the first half double crochet of the next flower petal, chain 6 and half double and single crochet in the last half double crochet, and so on. So we're going to have an extended chain 6 and a long chain 6 over here. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do that. So work 1 single crochet in the first half double crochet of the row. Now chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and count 5 stitches, which are your 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put your hook in the next stitch, in the 6th stitch, which is your half double crochet, and work 1 single crochet, and again pull your chain in the back. Now chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip the next stitch, which is the single crochet, skip the stitch after that, which is the first single crochet of the next petal, and put your hook in the next stitch, which is your half double crochet. So put your hook in the half double crochet and work 1 single crochet. Okay, so this is your extended chain 6 and this is your long one. This is how this row is going to look like. Now again, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again count 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put your hook in the 6th one and work your single crochet. So that 6th stitch is your half double crochet, the second half double crochet of the flower petal. Now again, skip the first stitch, skip the next stitch, which is the single crochet, skip the second stitch, which is the first single crochet of the next flower petal, and put your hook in the 3rd one, which is your half double crochet. Oops, sorry, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now skip the first, the second, and put your hook in the 3rd in the half double crochet, okay, and work a single crochet. So again, I have an extended and a long one. Now again, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put your hook in the 6th one and work a single crochet. Again, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip 2 stitches, which are your 2 single crochet. One is the last single crochet of the one flower petal, and the second one is the first single crochet of the next flower petal. Put your hook in the 3rd stitch, which is the half double crochet, and work your single crochet. Again, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, put your hook in the 6th one, and work your single crochet. Again, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, put your hook in the 3rd, and work your single crochet. Okay, again, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put your hook in the 6th, and work a single crochet. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip the 2 single crochet, 1, 2, put your hook in the 3rd, and work a single crochet. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put your hook in the 6th one, and work a single crochet. Now again, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip the 2 single crochet, 1, 2, put your hook in the 3rd, and work a single crochet. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put your hook in the 6th, and work your single crochet. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip the 2 single crochet, 1, 2, put your hook in the 3rd, and work your single crochet. Again, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put your hook in the 6th, and work your single crochet. Now we are in the end, and I have worked my extended chain 6 on my last flower petal, but I need a long one as well because I have an extended here and extended here, so I need a long chain 6 as well in the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to finish by working a slip stitch in the first chain right over here. Okay, so this is how your motif should look like at this point. Okay, so we should have a total of 16 chain 6 spaces. So let's start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 chain 6 spaces. So now we're going to start row number 7, where we're going to make our circle motif into a square. So what we're going to do is, without working any chains, I'm going to work 1 slip stitch in the first 2 chains from the first chain 6 space. Okay, so put your hook in the first chain and work 1 slip stitch. Put your hook in the second chain and work 1 slip stitch. So we have reached the third chain. Okay, so if you have worked your slip stitches correctly, you should have 4 chains left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what we want to do now is we're going to start crocheting the square. So we want to start working the corner firstly. So in order to, when we work the corners, we need 4 double crochet, chain 2 and 4 double crochet. So I'm going to start with my 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, which count as my first double crochet. I'm going to work 3 more under the chain space. So 2, 3, 4. Okay, my first is my chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 2 and 4 more double crochet under the same chain space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have created the first corner. Now, in each of the next 3 chain 6 spaces, okay, so for 1, 2, 3 chain 6 spaces, we're going to work only 3 single crochet in each one of those in order to form the one side of the square. Okay, so jump over into the first chain space and work 1, 2, 3. Second chain space, 1, 2, 3. Jump over to the third chain space and 1, 2, 3, and see how nice the sides have come together. Okay, now after the 3 chain 3 spaces in which I work the single crochet, again I'm going to work my second corner. So go ahead in the next chain 6 space and work 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, and 4 more under the same chain space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So far I have my first corner, first side, and second corner over here. Now in each of the next 3 chain 6 spaces, I'm going to work 3 single crochet, 3 single crochet, and 3 single crochet. Okay, so starting from the first chain space, work 1, 2, and 3. Second space, 1, 2, 3. And the third space, 1, 2, 3 single crochet. So now we're going to create our third corner. So jump over to the next chain 6 space and again work 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4, chain 2, and 4 more stitches under the same chain space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have created the other side as well. So now again, in the next 3 chain 6 spaces, again we're going to work 3 single crochet in each chain 6 space. So the first chain space, 1, 2, 3. The second chain space, 1, 2, 3 single crochet in the third chain space, 1, 2, 3 single crochet. So again I've worked my other side over here as well. So after the 3 chain 6 spaces, we're going to work the 4th and last corner for our motif. So go ahead in the next chain 6 space and work. 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochet, chain 2, and 4 more double crochet under the same chain space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this was my last corner. Okay, and now we're going to work in the last 3 chain 6 spaces to form the last side of my square. So in the first chain space, again work 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3. Second space, 1, 2, 3. In the third space, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go ahead and finish row number 7 by working a slip stitch in the first double crochet for this row, which is the third chain counting from the bottom to the top. 1, 2, 3, and work a slip stitch. Okay, so let me zoom out so you can see how your square should look like at this point. Okay. Now we're going to work one last row, row number 8, in which we're going to work 1 single crochet all around, so all the sides are going to even out. You're not going to have those little bumps over here, okay? So we're going to work 1 single crochet all around our square, and this is going to be our last row, row number 8. So after my slip stitch, I am going to chain 1. And if you recall, we worked a slip stitch in the first out of the 4 double crochet on this side. So what I want to do is I want to work 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So just to make sure we're crocheting correctly, we are going to be counting the stitches in the sets that we were crocheting them. Okay, so I worked a slip stitch in the first double crochet, so I have 3 left. Starting from the next one right over here, I have 1 next stitch, 2, 3. Now under the chain 2 space, I am always going to be working 1 single crochet, chain 1, and 1 single crochet under the same chain space. Okay. Now starting from the right side of the stitch, right over here, this hole over here, we're going to work 4 single crochet on top of this 4 double crochet. Now, Because we are working in the round and we are not turning our work, the whole of each stitch is on the top right. Right over here is the whole of the first double crochet. What I usually mention on my video tutorials is that when we turn our work, the correct hole for each stitch is on the top left. Okay, see how we have 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochet, and the hole of each stitch is on the top left. That would happen if we were turning our work in every row. But because we're working in the rounds, the whole of each stitch is on the top right, so you know where you're putting your hook correctly. Okay, so right over here is our first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we have 3 sets of 3 single crochet. Starting from the next stitch, 1, 2, 3. Second set, 1, 2, and 3. And my third set, 1, 2, and 3. Now I have 4 double crochet. Starting from the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now under the chain 2 space, work 1 single crochet, chain 1, 1 single crochet under the same chain 2 space, and now again we're going to start with the 4 double crochet, and I am going to start on the top right of the stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have 3 sets of 3 single crochet. So first set, 1, 2, 3. Second set, 1, 2, 3. Third set, 1, 2, 3. Now I have my 4 double crochet starting from the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now go right ahead in the chain 2 space and work 1 single crochet, chain 1, and 1 more single crochet. And now again we have the 4 double crochet for the corner. So starting on the top right of the stitch, work 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have 3 sets of 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Second set, 1, 2, and 3. Now the third set, 1, 2, 3. Now I have my 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now go right ahead in the chain 2 space and work single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet. Okay. Now we're working on the last side of our square, and again I'm starting on the top right of the first double crochet, and I'm going to work 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. Now have 3 sets of 3. 1, 2, 3, second set, 1, 2, 3, and the third set, 1, 2, 3. Now this hole over here, this is not a stitch, this is our slip stitch, but because I want to work a slip stitch in the first single crochet, and this distance is going to be very big, I'm going to work one last single crochet in the slip stitch, and I'm going to work a slip stitch in the first single crochet for this row, chain 1, and our motif is ready. Okay, so I've completed my first motif, and see how nice the last row of single crochet that we worked, how nice it looks like. So the last row of single crochet does not only help us to even out the sides, but it also helps us to join easier with the other motifs that we're going to join on the sides. Okay, so after the chain that we worked after the last slip stitch, I'm going to cut the yarn and fasten off. Okay, so we're going to need 3 more of these beautiful motifs, and then we're going to see how to join them together. We've completed crocheting our motifs. We have a total of 4 square motifs, and we're going to join 2 at a time. We're going to join these 2 together and then the other 2. We are going to join by working single crochet, and this is the result that we're going to have. Okay, this outline over here, if you don't like this outline, by joining with single crochet, you can go ahead and sew them together. So what we're going to do, we're going to start by joining the center of the 2 motifs with a 5mm crochet hook, and then the row of single crochet all around is going to be made with a 5.5mm crochet hook. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so let's start joining, and I want both of my squares to be on the good side and on the same exact point where I stopped. So what this means is that when we finished crocheting each square, our yarn was on the top left, so on the same spot on the right side, on the right motif, I want the yarn that I finished to be on the top left. Now I want both of my motifs to be on the good side. This means that when this is on the good side, the yarn that we started with is on the back. On the other motif as well, and the good side is the side that we're always working in the rounds, our motifs, okay? So as both of my motifs are on the good side, I'm going to put them together like this, okay? And we are going to start joining. Now, what I want to do is I want to be crocheting together with single crochet the back loop of the front motif. So when we have our crochet hook in the stitch correctly, this is the front loop, and this right here is the back loop. So I'm going to be putting my hook in the center of the 2 loops and grabbing the back loop, okay? And when I crochet on the back motif, I want to be grabbing the front loop. Okay, so I'm going to be putting the hook from the bottom and take it out to the top. So we want to be grabbing the 2 loops that are touching each other. Okay, so this right here is the back loop, and this right here is the front loop. So these are the 2 loops that want to be crocheting together. Okay, so I want to start crocheting on the stitch that's after the chain 1 space on the corner. So right here is the chain 1 space of the corner, and this right over here is the first stitch. As I mentioned earlier, when we work in the rounds, the hole that belongs to each stitch is on the top right. So this right here is the single crochet that's inside the chain space, and it's after the chain 1 that I want to start crocheting. So this right here is the hole that belongs to this first single crochet over here. Okay, so I want to start crocheting from the first stitch of the side, which is this one right here. So I want to grab the back loop of this one, and on the back motif, this right here is the chain 1 space. So this right here is the first stitch, and I want to grab the front loop. So I'm going to join. I'm going to grab my yarn and pull it through both of the loops. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to single crochet again under the same loops. Okay, and now I'm going to work 1 single crochet across. So this was my first stitch. I want to be grabbing the same stitch from the front and the same stitch on the back motif. So now I'm going to grab the second stitch from the front and the second stitch from the back. Back loop and front loop and single crochet. Okay, next stitch, back loop, front loop and single crochet. 3, back loop, front loop and single crochet. 4, back loop and front loop, single crochet. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Right after the stitch that I just finished, the 19th stitch is my chain 1 space in which I don't want to crochet into, okay? And the next stitch from the one that I just finished again is the chain 1 space in which I don't want to crochet into at this point. So we joined both of the motifs together, and this is how they look like. See how we have a scheme over here, an outline? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take out my 5mm and I'm going to grab my 5.5mm crochet hook. What I want to do now is I want to crochet 1 round of single crochet all around the 2 motifs, okay? And I want to start crocheting from the chain 1 space. Again, make sure you remember that the whole of every stitch is on the top right. So we have crocheted in this stitch, which was the last single crochet that we joined. So this right here is the chain 1 space in which I'm going to work 1 single crochet. Okay, now make sure you crochet on the single crochet that's in the chain space, because the whole of that stitch is right here on the top right. Okay, so 2, and let's continue crocheting 1 single crochet in every stitch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now the next stitch right here is the slip stitch, this hole over here, so I don't want to crochet in that stitch. I want to put my hook right here where I worked the slip stitch, and work your 17th stitch and pull it tight so the stitch comes in the same height with all the others. So 17, and as I go through, I'm going to be crocheting in the yarn that I finished the motif, so I don't have to weave it in at the end. So 17, 18, 19, and 20. After the 20th stitch, right in here under the chain 1 space, I'm going to work 1 single crochet, chain 1, and 1 single crochet under the same stitch. Okay, now we're going to start the other side, and again make sure you crochet in the single crochet that's the first stitch of this side of the square. In this first stitch, the hole that belongs to this first single crochet is the one that's on its right. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and again I reached the chain 1 space in which I'm going to work 1 single crochet, chain 1, and 1 more single crochet under the same chain space. Now again, starting to crochet from the first stitch, which is, this is the first single crochet, which is on the chain space. On the top right, it's the first stitch. So 1, and go ahead and crochet the stitches up until you reach the chain 1 space. This is going to be your last stitch over here. So along with the chain 1 space, you're going to have 20 single crochet. Okay, it's right here. We do not want to crochet in this big hole over here, nor in the other big hole on the other side, because these are the 2 single crochet that we joined together when we joined the 2 motifs. So this right here is going to be your last stitch, and go ahead across on the other motif right here, which is the chain 1 space right over here, and start crocheting. Make sure you pull your yarn a little tight once you reach from the one side to the other to join the 2 motifs on the corners over here. Okay, keep crocheting 1 single crochet in every stitch. In the chain 1 space, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, 1 single crochet on the other side, 1 single crochet, chain 1, 1 single crochet on the chain 1 space. Okay, one single crochet on the last side over here, and this right here is going to be your last stitch in which you're going to crochet into. Again, we do not want to crochet in the big hole over here because it's the single crochet that we joined the two motifs together. So once I reach my last single crochet that I'm going to work in here, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to finish working all around, how to close the row, and what we're going to do in order to continue with our backpack. I've completed crocheting all around, okay, and I've crocheted in my last stitch. Now I want to work a slip stitch in the first single crochet of this row that I started crocheting all around. So be careful, we do not want to crochet. This is not my last stitch, this is the last stitch of the joining. So the first stitch is this single crochet over here, which I worked in the chain one space. Okay, so put your hook in that stitch and work a slip stitch and finish off by chaining one, cut the yarn and fasten off. Okay, so let's see how it looks. Okay, so this is how the joining of our motifs looks like. Okay, so we have joined, we want to join in pairs, so I have joined the first two we did together and the other two I worked off camera because I wanted to see how to join and which parts I needed to focus to make sure that you understand better. Okay, so we joined in pairs, and what we want to do now is we want to take only one of the pairs of the motifs and we're going to work 5 to 6 rows of single crochet on the one narrow side and 5 to 6 rows of single crochet on the other narrow side, and then we're going to join all together to form the body of our backpack. Okay, so let's see how to do that. Okay, so let's start crocheting on the narrow side. I have already worked the one side off camera, okay, and now we're going to work the other side together. So make sure you're looking on the good side of your motifs. The good side is where we have the outline over here with the stitches that we joined, and since the yarn that I started with is on the back, this means that this is the front, the good side of my motifs. Okay, so turn on the narrow side, and I'm going to zoom in so we can see better where I'm working into. Okay, so we are going to join on the chain one space, and now we're going to work from the one chain one to the other chain one. Okay, so right over here under this stitch is my chain one space, and I'm going to join. Okay, so grab the yarn, pull it through the stitch, chain one, and work one more single crochet under the same chain space. Okay, so I worked a chain to join and I worked a single crochet in that same chain space. Now, as I mentioned earlier, make sure you don't miss the stitch of the next single crochet. So this right here is the single crochet that we worked in the chain one space. So the hole that's on the top right of that stitch is the one that belongs to it. Okay, so 2, and we are going to have a total of 23 stitches from the one side to the other. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and my last stitch is under the chain one space right here, 23. Okay, so this is my first out of the 6 rows that I'm going to work on this side. Okay, so this is row number 1, chain 1, and turn your work to start row number 2. Now, as we were working in the rounds, we said that the hole that belongs to each stitch was the top right. Okay, so now because I turned my work, the hole that belongs to each single crochet is the one on the left. So this is the first stitch, on the left is the first hole. This is the second single crochet, and this is the stitch. Third single crochet, this stitch. Fourth single crochet, this stitch on the top left. Okay, so let's start row number 2, and I'm going to start by crocheting on the first single crochet. So 1, next stitch, 2, next one, 3, and keep crocheting up until the end where you're going to have 23 stitches. Once I finish the row, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to start row number 3. I've worked my 23 stitches. Now we're going to start row number 3 by chaining 1, turn your work, and again by starting on the first single crochet we're going to work our 23. So 1, 2, 3, and keep crocheting up until you have your 23 single crochet. So we have worked 2 rows together. We just started the third one, and we're going to work the next 3 to have a total of 6 rows off camera. We are always going to be working from the first to the 23rd stitch, and always chain 1 and turn your work to start your new row. Once I finish my 6 rows, I'm going to turn my video back on. I have worked my 6 rows with 23 single crochet each one of them, and I'm going to close by chaining 1, oops, chain 1, cut the yarn, pull the loop, and tighten up. Okay, so make sure you do the same exact thing on the other side as well. Join on the good side, join right here on the chain 1 space, and work your 23 stitches. So this is how the one pair of motifs is going to look like. It's going to seem as if it has a pair of ears. Okay, so this is how the one pair is going to look like, and this is how the other pair is going to look like. So now we're going to join both of them together. What I want to do is I want to have the good side of this pair, and I want to have the wrong side of the other pair where I have the yarn that I started with on the top, and I'm going to place the one on top of the other. So when I turn from the one side to the other, I see the good side of both pairs. Okay, and now we're going to join in the same exact way we joined right here in the center. So I'm going to show how to begin with, and we're going to work the joining off camera. Okay, so what we're going to do is right here, because I started crocheting on the chain 1 space, I'm going to start joining on the chain 1 space as well. So I'm going to put my hook in the chain 1 space on the front side. Okay, in the chain 1 space. On the back side, I'm going to put my hook on the first single crochet, which is this one right here. But again, I want to grab the front loop as I was doing when I joined the 2 motifs together. So I'm going to join. Okay, I'm going to work a single crochet in the same loops. Okay, oops. Okay, and what I'm going to do now So the front side was my chain 1 because I started crocheting from the chain 1 on the back side. Okay, so on the front side I joined in the chain 1, and on the back piece I joined on the first single crochet. Now on the first single crochet on the front side, and I want to grab the back loop. Okay, the next stitch on the back side, and I want to grab the front loop and single crochet. So back loop on the front piece, front loop on the back piece, and single crochet. Back loop on the front piece, front loop on the back piece, and single crochet. Back loop and front loop and single crochet. Back loop and front loop and single crochet, and keep working one single crochet up until the end, where we are going to have a total of 23 single crochet. The last stitch that you're going to work on the front piece is your chain 1 space, and the last stitch on your back piece is your last single crochet right over here. Those are going to be the last 2 stitches you're going to crochet into. Once I finish joining with all the 23 stitches, I'm going to turn my video back on. I've completed joining the whole side, and what I'm going to do now is after the last single crochet, after the 23rd stitch that I just worked, I'm going to finish off by chaining 1, cut the yarn, and fasten off. Okay, so let me zoom out so you can see what we just did. Okay, so this is what we have over here. We just joined the 2 pairs together right here on the side, and as we were joining over here on the good side, on the same side you want to go ahead and join the other 2 sides to join the 2 pairs together in the same exact way. You're going to start on the chain 1 on the first stitch and work your 23 single crochet to join, and we're going to have the body of our backpack. Once I finish joining the other side as well, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to continue with our backpack. I've completed joining, and this is what I have as a result. Okay, now I have a cylinder, and the top part is going to be the top part of my backpack, in which I'm going to crochet a few rows of single crochet and then a row with squares so I can put the strap around in the end. And on the bottom part, again, I'm going to crochet a few rows, and it's going to be the part that I'm going to join on the base of my bag. Okay, now we're going to start crocheting, and it doesn't matter which side you're going to pick for the bottom or for the top, because in the top and the bottom, they're both exactly the same. What I want you to be aware of is the front and back side of the of the bag. The front side is going to be the one where we just joined with single crochet. Okay, so I have this outline over here with a single crochet, and because I have the outline of the single crochet on the center as well, I want this to be the front of my backpack. On the back side, where I don't have the scheme of the single crochet over here on the sides, this is going to be the back side of my backpack. So if I want to join the yarn or whatever, this is going to be the side where I'm going to join, so any slip stitches or anything are going to be made on the back of our backpack. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so let's join our yarn, and as I mentioned earlier, we want to join on the back side of our backpack. Okay, so I want to attach somewhere in the middle, and I know this is about the middle because it's the scheme where I joined the 2 squares together. Okay, so put your hook in here, grab the yarn, pull it through the stitch, chain 1, put your hook in the same exact stitch and work your first single crochet. Now, as I'm going through to crochet on my single crochet, I will be crocheting together the yarn that I started with as well, so this way I won't have to weave it in the end. Okay, so one single crochet in every stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and keep working one single crochet up until you finish crocheting on top of the motif. Once I reach this spot over here, which is the piece of single crochet that I worked on the sides of the motifs, okay, once I reach right over here, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to crochet on these, on top of the single crochet over here. I've crocheted one single crochet on top of the motif over here. Now I have reached the spot where I'm going to have to crochet horizontally on top of the single crochet that I worked on the 6 rows that I worked on the sides. Okay, remember where we worked the 6 rows of single crochet on the side of the squares? Okay, so this is the good side of the stitches. These are the rows of single crochet. So now I'm going to have to crochet on the side of those stitches. So what I am going to do, I want to crochet on top of the first single crochet of every row. Before I do that though, because from jumping from here to here is a big distance, what I want to do is I want to put my hook right in here on the single crochet, which is the one on the chain 1 space that I was working on the motif. Okay, and I'm going to start crocheting on the single crochet. I have a total of 6 rows. This means that I'm going to have to work a total of 6 stitches up until here. If you have more than 6 stitches, that means that you have made a mistake somewhere. So this right here is the first row. So this is the first stitch of the first row. Okay, so 1. This is the next row. 2. This one right here is the next row. 3, 4, 5, and right over here 6. Okay, so now I want to crochet one single crochet right in here where I joined. 7. So this is, I'm on the right side of the skein. Now I'm going to go onto the left side of the skein right over here. On the left side, and I'm going to work one single crochet right in here. Okay, and I'm going to pull to tighten up that single crochet so it comes on the same height with all the other stitches. Now I have reached on the spot where I'm on the other motif. So right here I have the single crochet where I was working all around the motifs. So I'm going to be working one single crochet in every stitch from here on. Okay, one single crochet on top of each single crochet. Okay, now I'm going to be working one single crochet on top of my motifs, and again when I reach the spot where I'm going to have to crochet horizontally on top of my stitches right over here, I'm going to turn my video back on. I have completed crocheting on top of the motifs, one single crochet in every stitch, and again I have reached the spot where I'm going to have to crochet horizontally on top of every first single crochet of every row that I worked on the sides of the motifs on the 6 rows. Okay, so we're going to work the same exact steps that we did on the other side. The only difference is that I'm going to start backwards. What this means is first I'm going to work on the right and left side of the skein, which is the step that I did in the end over here. Okay, so first I'm going to work 1 single crochet on the right side, on the right side of the skein. Now 1 single crochet on the left side of the skein right over here. Okay, and now 1 single crochet on every first stitch of every row. So first row, 1, next row, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my last row, 6. Okay, now I'm going to keep crocheting 1 single crochet on top of every single crochet that I was working around the motifs. Okay, so 1 single crochet on top of every single crochet now. 1 single crochet on the next stitch, 1 single crochet on the next stitch, and keep working 1 single crochet. Okay, so we are right over here, and I'm going to keep crocheting 1 single crochet up until I complete the row. This right here is going to be the last stitch that I'm going to work into. Then I'm going to close the row by working a slip stitch, and then I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to start row number 2. I have completed crocheting my first row of single crochet. Now the next stitch right here is where I joined and worked my first single crochet. So right here on the first single crochet, I'm going to put my hook, and I'm going to work a slip stitch to close row number 1, and I'm going to chain 1 to start row number 2. So I'm going to start crocheting on the first stitch, not here where I worked my slip stitch, but the next one over here, and I'm going to work 1 single crochet all around. Okay, so I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch, and once I finish my row all around and come back here where I'm going to work on the last stitch, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to finish row number 2 and how to start row number 3. And from row 2 up until we finish the last row of single crochet, we're going to keep working in the rounds from now on without working a slip stitch. Okay, so we're going to see how to do that. I'm almost done with row number 2, and what I want to explain is to understand which hole belongs to each stitch. Now, if we continue working in the rounds without turning our work in every row, the hole that belongs to each stitch is the one that's on the top right. So this is the single crochet that I just worked, my last single crochet. On the right side is the stitch of that, the hole of that stitch. This is the single crochet, and on the top right is the hole for that stitch. If I was turning my work in every row, now the hole of every stitch would be on the top left. Next stitch, top left, next stitch, top left. Okay, so when I turn my work in every row, the hole for each stitch is on the top left. If I continue working in the rounds, the hole of each stitch is on the right. Now, having said that, this right here is the last single crochet for my row, and on the right is the hole that belongs to that stitch. Now, because I'm going to continue working in the round without working a slip stitch in the end of the row, since I worked on the last stitch, this right here is the first stitch in which I'm going to have to work. But because the gap is big, I'm going to need to crochet on the hole of the slip stitch as well. So this is the last stitch of row number 2, in which I'm going to attach a stitch marker. Okay, now starting from the first stitch, I'm going to work a single crochet, and this is the first stitch of row number 3. I'm going to continue working 1 single crochet in every stitch. Once I reach my stitch marker, I'm going to turn my video back on, because when I crochet the single crochet on top of the stitch marker, that means that I have completed row number 3, and then we're going to start row number 4. I'm almost done with row number 3. Okay, I'm going to take out the stitch marker and I'm going to work the last single crochet for row number 3. I'm going to attach my stitch marker on the stitch that I just worked. Okay, now we're going to start row number 4. The first stitch, okay, so the next stitch right over here is the first stitch of row number 4. So keep crocheting 1 single crochet all around. Once I reach the stitch marker, I'm going to turn my video back on to work the last stitch of row number 4 in the stitch marker. Then we're going to see how to work the row to create the squares, the holes, which is where we're going to be attach the strap that we're going to crochet in the end of the backpack, and how to work the last row after that to complete the top part of our backpack. I'm almost done with row number 4. I'm going to take out my stitch marker and I'm going to work my last single crochet. And now I want to close my work. I want to close my rows to start the new row where I'm going to crochet the squares for so I can take through the strap in the end when I finish my backpack. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, since I worked my last single crochet, I'm going to put my hook in the next stitch and I'm going to work a slip stitch. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the new row by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the first 3 chains count as a double crochet, and the last chain, the 4th one, counts as a chain 1 space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the first stitch, I'm going to put my hook in the second one, and I'm going to work a double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch because the chain substitutes for 1 stitch. So since I work 1 chain, it substitutes the next stitch. So I'm going to jump, I'm not going to crochet in the next stitch, I'm going to go into the stitch after that and I'm going to work a double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook in the stitch after that and work a double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook in the stitch after that and work 1 double crochet. Okay, so this is what we have as a result. So keep working 1 double crochet, chain 1, skip the next stitch, put your hook in the stitch after that. Keep working this pattern all around. Once I reach the end, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to finish this row and how to start the next one. I've completed crocheting all around, and this is how my work looks like at this point. Okay, now we're going to close this row. After my last double crochet, I have worked a chain 1, and I'm going to put my hook in the first double crochet for this row to work a slip stitch. So counting from the bottom to the top, 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my hook in that 3rd chain, I'm going to work a slip stitch. Now I'm going to chain 1 to start the last row, in which I want to work 1 single crochet in every stitch. This means that I'm going to work 1 single crochet under every chain 1 space and 1 single crochet on top of every double crochet. And what I mentioned earlier is that the stitch that belongs to the double crochet, because we are working on the round, is the hole that's on the top right of the stitch. 1 single crochet under the chain 1 space, 1 single crochet on top of the double crochet, and the hole that belongs to the double crochet is the one that's on the right side of the stitch. Okay, 1 single crochet under the chain 1 space, 1 single crochet on top of the double crochet, which is the hole on the top right. So keep crocheting 1 single crochet all around. Once I reach over here the chain 1 space, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to close the top part and how to start crocheting on the base. I'm almost done crocheting my row, and what I want to show is I'm going to frog a few stitches Now before I turn my video off, I mentioned that we crochet one single crochet under the chain one space and one single crochet in the double crochet. Now because I didn't like the results, because when I was crocheting under the chain one space, my single crochet was going seemed longer, and every time I crochet in the double crochet, it's up here. So in order to have a nice straight even line, see how nice my single crochet look? What I did, instead of crocheting under the chain one space, I put my hook in the chain one space and I work my single crochet, then one single crochet in the double crochet. Again, instead of crocheting under the chain one space, put your hook in the chain one space, and see how on the top I have the 2 loops and the 1 loop on the bottom. So in the chain one space and work your single crochet. Okay, and this is the end of my row, where I'm going to work 1 slip stitch in the first single crochet for this row, slip stitch, chain 1, cut the yarn and fasten off. Okay, so let's see how the top part looks like at this point. Okay, so this is the main body of my backpack. Okay, and this is the top part. What we're going to do now is we're going to crochet on the leather base. Once we crochet around the leather base, we're going to work on the bottom part of the motifs. Over here, a few rows of single crochet, which are going to help me to join this part on the base that I'm going to crochet now. Okay, so let's see how to do that.